The Octopus with Three Hearts, One Season. In the cold water beneath a shelf of gray rock, there lived a creature built entirely out of contradiction. She had 3 hearts, 2 pumped blood to her gills, working quietly, endlessly, just to keep her breathing. The third, the important one, pumped blood to the rest of her body, to her arms, her mind, her hunger, her will to move through the world. She had blue blood, copper-based, cold and strange, built for a world with little oxygen and even less mercy. She had 9 brains, 1 in her head and 1 in each of her 8 arms, so that even her limbs could think for themselves, could reach and feel and decide without waiting for permission from the center of her. And she had, from the moment she hatched into the dark water, something crueler than any predator in the reef. She had a clock. An octopus does not live long. Some live a year. Some, if the water is kind and the current forgiving, live 2. She was told this before she understood what it meant, the way all young things are told the truth of their mortality long before they're able to feel its weight. 1 season to grow, 1 season to hunt, 1 season, if she was fortunate, to love. Then the end, not a metaphorical end, not a poetic one, an actual, biological, unforgiving end, because that is the strange design nature gave her kind. When an octopus finally mates, something inside her begins to shut down on purpose. Her body starts starving itself from within. She stops eating. She stops hunting. She stays, guarding what she made, until there is nothing left to her to give. Love, for her kind, is not a beginning. It is the beginning of the end. She spent her early days the way most young creatures do, cautious, curious, learning the shape of the reef by touch, since sight alone could never tell her enough. Her arms explored crevices her eyes couldn't see into. Each sucker along her limbs could taste the water, could sense danger and food and the presence of other living things, all without her ever needing to think about it directly. She was, in every sense, built for full-body awareness, built to feel everything all at once, constantly, which made the second half of her short life so much harder to carry. Because as she grew, she began to understand the way every mortal creature eventually understands that the ocean did not care how briefly she was here. The tides did not slow for her. The moon did not wait. Many octopi lived their short lives the way frightened creatures often do, squeezed into the smallest, safest crevice they could find, camouflaged against the rock, how slow the clock ticking inside 3 separate hearts. She understood the impulse. Fear is honest in its own way. It tells the truth about how much a small, soft-bodied creature stands to lose in a world full of eels and sharks and larger things with sharper teeth. But she had watched enough of her kind die exactly like that, hidden, cautious, safe, only to be found in the end, regardless, having spent their only season protecting a life they never actually lived. She refused that ending. So she moved. She explored waters other octopi were too afraid to cross. She hunted boldly, using every one of her 9 minds at once, one arm testing a shell for weakness, another feeling along the sand for buried prey, her central mind weighing risk against hunger with the fierce clarity of something that knows exactly how limited its time really is. She changed color with her moods, not to hide, but sometimes simply because she felt something and her body couldn't help but show it flashes of deep red when she hunted, pale white when she rested, mottled brown and gray when she moved unseen through unfamiliar terrain, testing the edges of a world that would only ever let her see so much of it. She was not reckless. She was precise. Every risk she took because the alternative, a long, careful, empty season, frightened her more than any predator ever could. And then, as it does for all her kind, love found her. Reaching toward arm, suckers meeting suckers, two creatures with 9 minds each, learning each other the only way their kind ever could completely, all at once, with no part of themselves held back. She knew, even as it happened, what it meant. She knew her third heart, the one that had carried her hunger, her boldness. She chose it anyway. This is the part of the story that most creatures, if they were capable of understanding it, would call tragic. Because after that day she found a crevice in the rock, not to hide from danger, but to lay what she had created. Thousands of small, pale eggs, strung together in delicate chains, hung with more care than she had ever given anything in her short, fierce life. And then she stayed. She did not leave to hunt. She did not eat. Her body, true to its ancient design, began to consume itself slowly from the inside, redirecting every last resource toward the only thing that mattered, now keeping the water moving gently over her eggs with a constant, tireless motion of her arms, keeping them clean, keeping them safe, keeping them alive, even as she herself grew weaker with every passing day. Her body forced her to live it out completely. Love that costs you nothing was never really love. She could have hidden in her crevice her entire short life, conserving everything, risking nothing. Here is the truth beneath the story. You too have a season, telling yourself you'll get to it once it's safer, once there's more time. There will never be more time. There is only this time. You can spend it small still, hiding in your own crevice, protecting a life you never quite risked, loving without holding anything in reserve for a safer day that may never come. The tide doesn't care how much you meant to do. You were never given a long season. You were given a full one if you're brave enough to spend it that way. So reach. Give everything worth giving. And when your season ends, let it end like hers, not defeated. Complete. If you like the story, please like and subscribe.